With the rain coming down the way it is, it certainly could. So I think it's always better to be over-prepared than under-prepared.
First at 6, a KGW weather impact alert as rain pours, rivers rise, and flood concerns take center stage. Let's give you a live look from our Wells Fargo sky camera over downtown Portland. 57 degrees, a little balmy, but dark and raining, something you can expect to see a lot of over the next few hours. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. We'll get to your update on the forecast in just a moment, but our team coverage begins with Jake Holter live in Estacada, not far from the Clackamas River, which is now under a flood warning. Jake, what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, so David, sandbags are the name of the game here in Estacada as low-lying residents prepare for likely floodwaters. We spoke with one man who says he's a little nervous as his home sits right on the riverbank. A rushing Clackamas River means a truck bed full of sandbags for Rob Hudson.
I did 25 bags yesterday, and I'm back here, probably going to do another 25 today.
Hudson and his son's homes both on Paradise Road, which sits right on the Clackamas River. With his son out of town, Hudson is stepping in to try his best to waterproof the house.
Try to get all of his doors, covered up with sandbags and things, because everybody who's lived there for a time says that this flood level will get to his house. So at about 23 feet, it'll come above these stairs.
Hudson took us down to he and his son's properties to show us how it floods.
Well, at about 18 feet, it goes to the base of those stairs. 20 feet, even though, that's way more than 2 feet, just the amount of water that's in the river brings it up way higher than that here. So 2 feet does not equal 2 feet.
The National Weather Service predicts the Clackamas River will reach more than 25 feet overnight or into Friday morning, which places the river in the major flood category. Hudson's new house built on stilts to be up to code since it's at such a flood risk, but Hudson says he still has flood prep to do.
We have a carport, trying to figure out places to put our cars, moving things out of the yard, all that sort of stuff, and making sure we have water and things in case we lose electricity or, anything like that.
There's a couple areas. We know at least one area is probably going to get a road covered with water.
Estacada City Manager Melanie Wagner says the city of Estacada is not in the major flood risk like the spots along the river northwest of town, but they are monitoring the situation closely.
With the rain coming down the way it is, it certainly could. So I think it's always better to be over-prepared than under-prepared.
And crews were out clearing storm drains yesterday, and also signs like this that say high water. Actually, you can see right now cars and vans driving through where it's flooded right here on Broadway between Liberty and 10th. This is one of those spots that historically is flood prone in Estacada, so that's why those signs are there. Back to you.
All right, Jake Holter keeping an eye on things in Estacada. Thanks, Jake. I want to head to Portland now, where just like Clackamas, there are growing concerns along Johnson Creek. NOAA forecasting parts particularly near Powell Butte and Sycamore. The area will reach moderate to major flood stages in the coming hours, likely peaking late this evening. Right now, the gauges show that creek is steadily climbing there, urging all residents who live anywhere near it to watch for fast rising waters. And just like in Estacada, that's a warning the people along the creek are paying attention to.
Definitely flooding, some of it getting up to people's houses and things like that. So, if we can help out to prevent that, that's what we're here for. So,
City of Portland also providing free sandbag filling stations at both Lentz Park and Gabriel Park. Team coverage continuing now with Celine Stevens. Celine, it has been a heck of a day. It is not over yet. The big question, when will things finally start to calm down, at least in terms of the rain?
David, good news is that in the next few hours. So we saw that consistent rainfall today, but like I said, by early morning Friday, we're going to see things really start to change, which is good news given everything we've been going through. Looking at our sky camera at the Oregon Zoo right now, 55 degrees. Looks like it's not stopping anybody from seeing the zoo lights, but again, 55 degrees. The winds are nice and calm. It just is very wet out there. And looking at our radar, we've been seeing again that consistent rainfall all day long. That's really all there's been to it. We've been seeing the moderate to heavy rainfall, and again, we'll finally get to see a little bit of a break in just the next few hours. But looking at all the watches and warnings that we've been dealing with, we of course have the flood watch basically from the coast to the mountains, and of course including here in Portland as well. And that will last through the weekend, even when the rain is no longer as intense as what we saw today. We're also dealing with wind warnings along the coast, and even here locally, we're going to still be seeing those stronger gusts this evening. And the Cascades will also have a winter storm warning that goes into effect tomorrow morning, as well as a winter weather advisory. So just so much going on over the next 24 hours or so. But the worst of it really was today, I should say, especially from what we saw earlier. Looking at our future cast, we're going to hold on to those stronger rain for the next few hours, and then by 2 a.m., we're going to see things really start to calm down. We're still dealing with cloudy conditions. It'll still be wet outside, of course, but we're not going to have that consistent heavy rainfall anymore. And as we get into our Friday, we're going to see more spotty showers. So there will definitely be rain, but it will not be the widespread downpour that we saw all day today. And as we get into our weekend, it's also lining up to be pretty wet as well. But again, it will not be to the atmospheric river level. Looking at our rainfall totals today, Portland hitting over 1.5 inches at the airport, just at that mark, I should say. It looks like 1.25 inches in Vancouver, Troutdale over 1.5 inches, so lots and lots of rain. Along the coast, places like Astoria hit 1 inch, and Tillamook's not showing up on the map, but they hit 4 inches of rain today. So lots of moisture. We'll talk more in a bit.
Yeah, some incredible numbers, all things considered. Thanks, Celine. Appreciate you keeping an eye on that. Well, at this hour, we should check on power outages because thousands are still in the dark. PG reporting more than 10,000 is scattered across the metro. It says it has 150 crews in the field. Power's been restored to 95% of customers who lost power. That was, 24, 36 hours ago. Pacific Power, though, reporting nearly 14,000 customers do not have power. The majority of those brand new in the Lincoln City area. Utility crews and contractors working now in the heavy rain to get the lights back on for everyone. Evan Watson has more from Northwest Portland.
I'm across the street from the French International School of Oregon, where some students got a surprise on Thursday morning. Classes were canceled because the middle school there was out of power after a tree fell down. Ultimately, the wind and the rain still concerns moving forward. Generators are up and running as some families deal with sporadic power outages. In Southwest Portland, line crews work to restore power lines damaged by fallen trees. And the French International School of Oregon in Northwest Portland canceled classes Thursday for a couple hundred middle schoolers. The middle school building lost power overnight.
Just this one building, and the tree that fell was over there near the middle school parking lot.
The rest of the campus was able to stay online.
We're so glad that our other kids are here on campus and still able to come to class today, and super thankful for PGE for jumping on top of it.
Portland General Electric spokesman John Farmer says PGE crews and contractors already restored power to 100,000 customers.
This is one of those all hands on deck situations where we've been out all night and we're going to stay out until everyone is back up and running.
Outages across all power companies are significantly down from Wednesday morning. The wind threat is diminishing, with crews mostly working on isolated outages, but ready for any changes.
We are monitoring the atmospheric river, the high winds, the system that's coming our way. We're monitoring it. We are ready for it.
But when it comes to canceling school just days before winter break,
Suboptimal for sure, but I'm sure the kids were excited.
Marianne Wilburn says the French International School knows it's just that time of year.
'Tis the season, so up here especially the weather is really different up here on the hill. We're at like 1,000 feet, so it can be snowing up here and not snowing in the rest of town. So we're prepared for things like this. We have a great facilities team, and we have safety measures put in place so that we can make sure that we keep everybody safe and protected.
Evan Watson, KGW News.
And stay with us as we follow the impacts of the latest atmospheric river on our region. You can find the updates anytime right here on KGW Plus and also on our website. That's kgw.com. Developing this evening, tragedy in North Carolina where a racing icon who grew up in Clark County has now been killed in a plane crash. Authorities say a jet carrying retired NASCAR race driver Greg Biffle and his family crashed, killing a total of 7 people. Officials and witnesses say the Cessna business jet burst into flames while trying to land in Statesville. It's about 45 miles north of Charlotte. Flight records show the plane was registered to a company run by Biffle, who graduated from Camas High. He was also a Northwest Regional Stock Car champion. We'll have local reaction tonight on KGW News at 11. Greg Biffle was 55 years old. In your headlines tonight, 2 Romanian nationals authorities say are in the country illegally are now facing federal charges accused of planning to steal more than $160,000 in food benefits. Prosecutors say the pair used stolen EBT card numbers and pins and even installed skimming devices at grocery stores across Oregon and the West Coast. Grand jury indicted them on 26 counts, including identity theft and fraud. Both men pleaded not guilty in federal court and remain in jail. Despite a string of high-profile layoffs, the Oregon Employment Department says the state's job market is on track to grow. New projections show 6% gains over the next decade, or about 141,000 jobs. Healthcare, construction, and professional services lead the way. State officials say even as employment ticks up, sitting now at 5.2% in Oregon, demand for workers is growing. In health headlines, flu cases are starting to rise across the Northwest, so doctors say this year actually looks fairly typical. And Oregon health experts warn we have not yet hit the peak, meaning there is still time to get the shot. Doctors say rates of vaccinations have actually dropped since the pandemic and say that is concerning since more people getting the flu shot means essentially less spread. For example, last season we saw more children getting sick than in years past.
One of the things that we've seen is more kids getting sick than did historically, which obviously is of grave concern. And so, again, kids have generally lower immunity, which is why if more of us are protecting ourselves, we are also protecting them.
OHA says a flu shot now can give your body enough time to build up protection before going to crowded places like airports, shopping centers, or family gatherings. And the federal government will now block hospitals and doctors from providing gender-affirming care to transgender children. Dr. Oz, who heads the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, made that announcement today. Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. calling gender-affirming care, quote, malpractice, end quote. Professional medical groups do not recommend surgery for children as part of this care, and research shows surgeries, though, are rare for teenagers.